Election Journal. We're here in the city of Detroit speaking with one of the poll captains.
My name is Morgan Whitaker.
Morgan, you've been working into these polls for how many years?
21 years.
And in all your years of experience, you've seen some changes here recently with the senior workers have to go through a mandatory training. Did you give us your thoughts?
Well, for the mandatory training, I think it's very feasible. And not only that, it helps the actual poll worker to know all the aspects of what they need to know on the election day. So we can answer all the questions that's needed. We can guide that actual person to the process of what needs to be done, help them in any way, every way possible, so they can be a confident individual after they've left the polls, that their vote really counts.
But the training has actually made your job easier?
It has, because then I could walk in the door with the confidence knowing that my poll workers, being that I'm a senior chairperson, that I'm overseeing both precincts, that they've actually done some part of training. If it's getting up to assist them by telling them, well, I can give you a demonstration. If it's for the hearing impaired, which is a new booth that we have, a new fundamental concept, that's good. But everybody needs to know everything. There's mandatory training at WC3, which is Wayne County Community College District, and there's some good instructors. Over the period of years, I've seen things change, but not for the best. Not for the worst, but for the best.
21 years experience, you must have seen a lot of poll workers over the years.
I have.
Would you say that this training has really improved their skill sets?
I would say yes, that they are far much better to actually deal with the polls in this today's way things are. The training has been mandatory. It's a good thing. It keeps them adequately together for that day.
You've had 21 years working in the polls, and you've run across challengers in a few elections. Can you tell us about your experiences with those challengers?
Well, I've never run across an actual challenger that was intimidating. Every challenger who's come in has always presented credentials. They were very honest about who they were. They were not in a deceiving form. So by showing me the credentials, who they were, I was able to provide them the information that they needed. They needed to see the documentation. We got along fine. Over the 21 years, I've worked in different precincts and worked with different sorts of people. But I would honestly overall say that I've worked with some good people, and I had some good challengers come in and greet me very well.
And you say that those challengers came from both sides of the aisle?
From both sides.
And outside groups like me?
As well.
Did you feel that the challengers that came in understood the election law and never crossed the line of what their limits were as challengers?
Well, if they were not, I would say that they understood the law, but if not, then there was a way that we could always talk about it and say, well, this is your guidelines, this is where you're going to stop, this is where I can't allow you to go any further, this is where you need to show me what you're showing me, credentials, this is what I'm going to show you, documentation. If we have any problems in here, there's a superior that is over me that you can speak to if you felt I was unfair.
And that's just not ever happened for you, is what you're saying?
Not to me.
We're in the city of Detroit, and one of the polls on primary election day here in August, and we're visiting with Janice, who is a super poll worker. And I'm sorry, it was Janice, right?
Yes.
It's Janice. Can you tell us about today's experience? How's turnout so far?
Turnout is about average.
About average.
It's about average.
What was your impression of the mandatory training?
Excellent.
You thought it was excellent?
Excellent, yes.
You've seen a lot of folks that have been doing this for decades. What did you think their impressions were of the mandatory training and what they got out of the class?
Well, I would probably think that it was a good experience for everybody because it identifies what your job is, your responsibilities, and people act accordingly.
Have you ever encountered any poll challengers?
Not the radical ones.
Oh.
We have several people who are challengers, like the NAACP is a challenger. Some of the people who are on the ballot might have a challenger come out and challenge. And they just do simple things. They're not allowed to challenge any voters. They can challenge our poll books. That's only if they're registered that they can come in and challenge anybody. If they're not registered, I get to ask them to leave. That's kind of nice.
The challengers that you've encountered here have all been cordial, they've been nice, and they've never overstepped their lines?
Never overstepped their bounds.
But if they don't got their proper credentials, you're kicking them out of here?
Well, I do ask them to leave.